Hello there. I'm the IdeaSpectrum, and this is your weekly dose of complicated, seemingly nonsense concepts made easier. Today, we're taking a stroll through a curious business phenomenon. What happens when well-intentioned ideas, like feminism, get misunderstood or overexposed, especially in business. And to explore this, we'll dive into a very colorful real-world case, Disney's latest Snow White live-action movie, a project that, let's say, didn't exactly live happily ever after. Changes in the story, controversies with the dwarfs, and public statements by lead actress Rachel Zegler all ended up creating a perfect storm. Was it just bad luck? Or was it what some call, go woke, go broke? Welcome to today's episode. Let's start with some facts. Disney's Snow White was originally set to be a magical reboot of the 1937 classic. However, early numbers don't lie. Production costs reportedly climbed to over $330 million. And yet, projections hint at box office earnings under $150 million. That's potentially one of Disney's biggest financial disasters. The problems? Well, first, the classic fairy-tale romance was heavily reworked. Snow White's journey became more about leadership than love. Fine in theory, but fans who adored the original felt alienated. Second, remember the seven dwarfs? Disney decided to replace most of them with full-sized actors using CGI, after actor Peter Dinklage criticized the depiction of dwarfs as backward. That led to short-statured actors losing real job opportunities, sparking backlash from the very community Disney aimed to support. And third, Rachel Zegler, the film star, didn't exactly help win hearts. In multiple interviews, she called the original Snow White weird and outdated, criticized the focus on romance, aligned herself with radical feminist ideals, and even made controversial statements on the Israel-Palestine conflict, which some feared even endangered her co-star Gal Gadot. All this drama led many to wonder, was it the ideas that sank the ship? But before we jump to conclusions, let's rewind and understand. What exactly is feminism? And how did radical feminism get tangled in this story? At its core, feminism is simple. It's the belief that men and women deserve equal rights and opportunities. But feminism, like any broad social movement, has different schools of thought. The three main modern branches are liberal feminism, which focuses on legal equality, think workplace rights, voting rights and so on. Socialist feminism. It blends gender issues with class struggles. It says capitalism and patriarchy must be addressed. Radical feminism. That believes the entire system is built to oppress women, and must be torn down and rebuilt. Since it seems to be Zegler's system of belief, we'll dive in this video deeper into radical feminism. Radical feminism originated in the 1960s and 70s. Influenced by civil rights movements, it posited that patriarchy isn't just a flaw to fix, it's the root system of society. Marriage, family, romance, traditional gender roles, all seen as structures designed to subjugate women. Popular figures like Andrea Dworkin and Catherine McKinnon argued that even consensual heterosexual relationships could reinforce oppression. And this, indeed radical, way of seeing things can be compared to anarchist communism in the way that both see oppression not as accidental, but systemic. Both advocate dismantling the system entirely, not patching it up, and both attract passionate followers, but often alienate moderates. Yet, most people confuse this extreme vision of feminism with the fundamental part of feminism, which darkens the image of the whole cause. Here's where the confusion starts. According to an Ipsos poll, nearly 47% of Americans associate feminism with anger towards men, a belief more aligned with radical feminism than mainstream feminism. Meanwhile, 65% still say feminism is about gender equality. Clearly, the brand of feminism people think of can vary wildly. And businesses, like Disney, sometimes fail to grasp this. They think they're embracing feminism as empowerment, but if they lean too far into radical reinterpretations, they risk alienating a huge swath of their audience. Now, back to Snow White. The movie checked a lot of modern boxes: female leadership, no prince saving the day, and dismantling quote-unquote outdated norms. But two major missteps stood out. First, the dwarfs controversy. After Peter Dinklage's comments, Disney shifted to full-size actors. In the meantime, many dwarf actors, who rely on such roles, protested the decision. Result: Disney angered both progressives and traditionalists at once. Second, Rachel Zegler's public persona. Zegler repeatedly criticized the original Snow White story. She claimed and emphasized that women shouldn't dream about romance, and made strong political statements about Israel, intensifying backlash. Now, the Israel-Palestine conflict and dwarf representation are extremely complex subjects, far too intricate to settle here. But one thing is clear: the repeated, aggressive ideological positioning distracted from what audiences actually wanted: a timeless, magical story. In short, Snow White wasn't simply a victim of changing times. It became a case study in how businesses can overcorrect, embracing radical, divisive narratives instead of inclusive, broad ones. Radical feminism, by rejecting even positive portrayals of love, support, and vulnerability, crosses into territory that many ordinary people, including women, find extreme. Instead of feeling empowered, audiences felt lectured. This, ironically, opens the door for the very people radical feminists oppose: political figures like Donald Trump, who mock these excesses and rally moderates and conservatives by pointing to such out-of-touch moments. The tragedy is this: by letting radicalism dominate public images of feminism, we risk discrediting the entire cause. Feminism started, and should still be, about fairness, dignity, and opportunity. Not dogma, not chaos. And that's how legitimacy can accidentally be given to radical critics with even fewer arguments, like Trump. Alright, that got a bit heavy there. Remember, here at IdeaSpectrum, we're all about decoding complicated ideas, not judging people. Today's goal wasn't to bash feminism, quite the opposite. It's to show that extremes, no matter the cause, often cause more harm than good, and do not really propose anything but capitalizing on people's grief. And if you're wondering, are there healthier ways feminism can move society forward? Stay tuned, because next time, we'll explore the other two main branches of feminism, and why they might actually serve women's interests better, both in their own way. If that sounds spicy, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss your next dose of IdeaSpectrum awesomeness. Until next time, question harder, think broader, and don't let anyone shrink your spectrum.